Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Willy Jetman Astromonkey's Revenge for the PS4. The game is also available for the Nintendo Switch and Microsoft Windows. Willy Jetman Astromonkey's Revenge is a single-player retro arcade shooter developed by Last Chicken Games. The game starts with a space incident that causes an environmental disaster. Your job is to visit the planet and collect and recycle all the space garbage, help out a local alien race, and defeat Astromonkey. So what is the game like to play? The game strikes a perfect balance between fluid platforming and satisfying combat. Your character is equipped with a jetpack and you can freely fly throughout the levels as long as you have enough fuel. You start with a small amount of fuel and health points, but over time you can level up your character to increase these. Flying is smooth and seamless, and it's very satisfying and quite relaxing gliding your character through the colourful game world. Defeated enemies drop glowing credits which can be used with local traders to upgrade your weapons and inventory items. But your main objective is to seek out space rubbish, pick it up, and throw it in the recycling machines dotted around the levels. There are abandoned ship parts, toxic waste barrels, and even old toilets to collect. Gathering these parts is easy at first, but as you progress, more enemies will make for some very tense and enjoyable set pieces where you have to balance your health and jet fuel to make it to the recycler. The initial controls are pretty awkward, but thankfully the developers have included the ability to remap the controller. In terms of weapons, you start with a basic machine gun, but as you explore you'll find weapon cards that unlock shurikens, mine launchers, flamethrowers, and many more. Each weapon has its own strengths, like the ability to destruct parts of the environment, or an improved damage effect against biological enemies. You can use whatever weapon you want, but certain ones will make progression easier, but it is dealer's choice. Weapon effectiveness can improve if you have enough credits to invest in leveling up that weapon. There are special items throughout the game that allow you augmented abilities like scuba gear, for example, that gives you a speedy motion in water, which you will need. The enemy variety is good, with each enemy having a different movement and attack pattern. Initially it's basic stuff, but later on you will find yourself in for some serious challenges in the tight and claustrophobic caves and interiors. The boss fights, however, were a little hit and miss. The large worm or Donkey Kong inspired ones were great, but others seemed very samey and lacked any sense of variety. But the general enemies make up for it with dragons, rock giants, flying fish, and those pesky squid swarms. The game world, although not enormous, is big enough to provide a reasonable challenge. You have colourful, land-based levels, waterfalls, caves, lava pits, and underwater tunnel systems. The platforming along with the enemy attacks makes for some tricky sections, but nothing that will keep you stuck for too long. You'll have to traverse timed mazes, avoid deadly traps, destroy boulders, and even make friends with the local aliens. One other feature is the manual save system, which only allows you to save at designated stations. It takes a little while to get used to, but you're never too far from a save point, so it isn't a real problem. The graphics are of a retro pixelated style and everything looks and feels authentic to that vintage era. Characters are clear, environments are clean, colourful, and there weren't any issues with the visual performance. And I'd say visually it's definitely one of the best modern games that are trying to recreate that retro feel without going over the top. It really looks and feels like a game from that era. In terms of sound, the game has a very catchy and cool chiptune soundtrack. It does get repetitive, yes, but it's high tempo, energetic, and it really suits the game very well. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? It's easy to pick up and play. The gameplay loop is very addictive. The combat and platforming are well balanced. The leveling up and weapon variety are great, and it's a good challenge while it lasts. What's bad? The boss fights are a little disappointing and the initial controller layout isn't great, but again, this can be remapped. So, what's the verdict? Willy Jetman Astromonkey's Revenge is an entertaining, addictive and satisfying platform shooter that really captures the essence of what made these types of retro games so playable. It's a simple premise that starts out pretty basic, but it will challenge you the further you progress, but never too much that it will become annoying. The art style is cool, the controls are smooth, the weapon variety is great, and there's something satisfying about flying around in your jetpack. The game has a good sense of humour and there weren't any major faults with the game itself. The only issue I had were the boss fights being a bit underdeveloped and simple. But barring that, it's a fantastic game that I enjoyed from start to finish, and I would definitely strongly recommend it. So my score for Willy Jetman Astromonkey's Revenge is 9 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.